Hello, this is Abigail Molina with Molina Law Group, where we freeze the fear of ICE by helping immigrants and their families arrive at a place of security and prosperity here in the U.S. Hola a todos, soy la abogada Abigail Molina con Molina Law Group, donde congelamos el miedo al ICE y ayudamos a inmigrantes y sus familias llegar a un lugar de seguridad y prosperidad aquí en los Estados Unidos. So welcome all. We are here today for our live Q&A. It's the weekend. It's Sunday night. Hope you've had a great weekend. I'm here tonight to answer any questions you might have, immigration-related questions, and we'll be talking about some immigration-related topics as well. Feel free to put your questions in the comments below, and I will get to those as soon as I see them. If you're watching this and it's not live, that means that it's pre-recorded and we are not here live, so you can't ask your questions, but you can join us on Sunday evenings and we'd be happy to answer your questions here live. If for some reason you're shy and you don't want to ask your questions here live, we would be happy to see those on Facebook and respond to you on Facebook Messenger, or you can give us a call at 541-653-8899. We'd be happy to to schedule you for your free discovery call to find out all the options that you might have for your case. Hoy estamos aquí, es domingo, fin de semana. Espero que les haya pasado un buen fin de semana y estoy aquí hoy para contestar sus preguntas tocante preguntas de inmigración, casos de inmigración, y vamos a estar hablando hoy también de temas de inmigración, algunas noticias sobre inmigración. Entonces, si tiene preguntas, puede poner su pregunta en los comentarios y voy a verlas y contestarlas al momento de verlas. Si tiene miedo de poner su pregunta, puede mandarnos un mensaje de Facebook o también puede llamar a 541-653-8899 para programar su cita completamente gratis para descubrir sus opciones sobre su caso de inmigración. Si está viendo este video y ya está grabado, quiere decir que no estamos ahorita en vivo, pero puede estar con nosotros cada domingo a las 7:30 para contestar sus preguntas sobre casos de inmigración. All right, so while we're waiting for our first question, I want to go ahead and talk about some of the immigration questions that we're getting here at Molina Law Group recently. And one of the things that I'm noticing is that many people are getting anxious about their U visa cases. Many people have filed their U visa case many years ago and are starting to get a little bit antsy about how long it has taken. In fact, just yesterday, I reviewed a U visa application that was well prepared by another immigration attorney, but they just wanted a second opinion because it's now been waiting for several years. And they thought, well, maybe there's something wrong. Maybe something wasn't done correctly on that application. So I was happy to tell them that the application was well prepared by that other attorney. And it's just that U visas are taking forever. There are a certain number of applications that can be approved each year for a U visa. And for those of you that maybe don't know what a U visa is, just quickly, it's for victims of certain violent crimes. So these are individuals who have suffered something, participated in the process of law enforcement, making a police report, maybe testifying in court. And because of that, they now are eligible for a U visa. But Congress set only a certain number of visas available each year. And unfortunately, there have just been so many victims of crimes that have been able to apply for U visa. And so there's become a very long backlog, not just in the processing, but actually in the approving of it. They literally cannot approve the visa until there's a visa available. So in order to address this huge backlog, this huge wait list that's been created over the last few years of just so many people applying. Last summer, there was an announcement that they would be doing something called a bona fide determination. And that just means that they're going to look at the case briefly, very quickly, and make sure, does it have this? Does it have that? Okay, it has this and it has that, then it will be, it's likely to be approved. They're not giving it a thorough review, but they're looking at it to see, will this case possibly be approved in the future? And if it is, then they're giving a work authorization that'll be valid for a couple of years and will be able to be renewed. So that was a very exciting announcement last summer. And all of us were wondering, how long will it take for them to do this quick review because it is supposed to be quick, right? So we were hopeful that there would be a work permit coming very quickly for all of our clients. Now it's been about 9 months since that announcement, and we're still seeing very long delays in getting those work permits. So what it looks like, what they did was they went back to 2015, 2016, those cases that are still in process that are waiting to be reviewed, and they're starting there. So there's still, what is that, 5-6 years of applications to be reviewed. So who knows exactly how long it's going to be before those bona fide work authorizations start going out in the mail. We have seen some of them, but it's more for cases that were filed 2016, 2017, around there. So slowly but surely, they are working their way through that backlog. Now, that doesn't mean that they're giving those U visas, because remember, it's important to remember that because there's only a certain number of U visas, those cannot actually be approved until there's a visa available. But meanwhile, all of these people have been waiting 5, 6, 7 years to get even any kind of legal status, and with the danger of potentially being deported without that legal status. So that's why the Biden administration decided to introduce this new procedure called the bona fide work permit application. And so they're going to be processing, they are processing those, but it's just taking a long time to get through those. So if you have filed your U visa, please make sure that you have also, together with your U visa application, that you file for a work permit. Some attorneys wait to file that later. Some do it all together as once. You can look at the packet. You should talk to your attorney. If you want a second opinion, we'd be happy to review it. Like I said, we did that yesterday for someone. The packet looked great. It was complete, very thoroughly done. And so we were happy to be able to tell that individual not to worry, just to stay patient and keep waiting. But we'd be happy to review your U visa application and make sure that it has also with it a work permit application, because if you don't have that filed, you'll need to file that. You'll get a notice saying, okay, we've looked at your application. It looks like you qualify for this bona fide determination. We haven't given an approval yet because there's no visa available, but if you'd like a work permit, send in your work permit application. And so to avoid any further delays, if you already have a work permit on file, then they'll just be able to approve it and send you the card. Now, another interesting thing about the U visa is that they try to make sure that the individuals are well protected. And usually what that means is that they don't send mail directly to the applicant. They send it to the attorney's office or whoever filed it for them, just in case if maybe they were a victim of domestic violence, maybe they still live with that person that was their abuser. And so to avoid getting that person into any trouble, they want to protect the applicant, and so they send the mail with the attorney. So make sure you stay in touch with your attorney. If you change your phone number, if you change your address, your attorney won't be able to get a hold of you to get you that work permit, and you're going to want that work permit just as soon as you can get it. Bueno, estamos platicando hoy sobre casos de visa U, recordándoles que la visa U es para personas que han sufrido han sido víctimas de un delito de violencia. Entonces, los casos de la visa U fueron creados para animar a la gente a ayudar, participar con la policía y no tener miedo de hacer reportes a la policía. Entonces, cuando iniciaron ese proceso, muchas personas empezaron a solicitar la visa U porque se puede usar cualquier delito, aunque sea de hace mucho. Entonces, las personas que sufrieron hace tanto han podido aprovechar de ese proceso. Pero Congreso solamente aprobó cierta cantidad de visas cada año. Entonces, debido a que ha habido muchas personas que han sido víctimas de delitos, desafortunadamente, ellos han solicitado la visa U y ha empezado a tener una lista de espera muy, muy larga. Entonces, están demorando en muchos casos más de 10 o 15 años para aprobar una visa U. Mientras tanto, debe de poder calificar para un permiso de trabajo, porque un nuevo proceso que empezaron el año pasado fue para proteger a personas que están en espera de la visa U, sabiendo que están demorando mucho tiempo para procesar la visa U. Entonces, crearon un nuevo proceso que se llama bona fide determination, una determinación de que a lo mejor este caso sí va a ser aprobado. O sea, no es una revisión completo para aprobarlo, pero es una revisión breve para determinar si tiene X o Y o Z, si tiene los elementos importantes que este caso sí va a ser aprobado en el futuro cuando haya una visa disponible. Entonces, crearon este nuevo proceso para un permiso de trabajo que se va a poder renovar mientras está en proceso con la visa U, porque mientras antes de recibir la visa U, estas personas no han tenido una aprobación, no han tenido una protección y no han podido trabajar legalmente. Entonces han sufrido aún más después de ser víctimas porque no han podido arreglar rápido. Entonces, gracias al presidente Biden, que iniciaron este proceso nuevo y todos estamos muy emocionados con el nuevo proceso, pero a la vez también queriendo saber qué tan rápido van a poder mandar los permisos de trabajos a los miles o no sé cuántos están en espera ahorita, tal vez millones de personas que están esperando su visa U. Entonces ya llevamos como 9 meses desde que empezaron el nuevo proceso y es cierto que están demorando bastante. Estamos viendo que personas de 2016, 2017, tal vez 2018 están recibiendo los permisos de trabajo. Pero van muy lento en su proceso. Entonces, hay que confirmar que su caso de visa U, que entregó una solicitud para permiso de trabajo cuando lo solicitó, porque algunos abogados hacen un paquete completo y otros, por alguna razón u otro, esperan entregar las otras solicitudes para permiso de trabajo y perdón y otras cosas que se requisita. Entonces, hay que confirmar con su abogado o su abogada que fue solicitado desde el principio, porque si no, va a recibir una noticia informándole que su caso ha recibido una determinación de bona fide, pero no van a poder aprobar su permiso de trabajo hasta que entregue una solicitud para su permiso de trabajo. Así que hay que solicitarlo desde antes por en cuanto ya está aprobado su determinación. Pueden mandar su permiso de trabajo. Y algo muy importante recordar que los casos de visa U son para personas muy protegidas. Entonces, inmigración tiene protecciones especiales para ciertos casos, tanto como VAWA y visa U, asilo. Y estos casos reciben protección especial y casi nunca mandan correo a la casa del solicitante si tiene abogado, porque quieren proteger a esa persona. ¿Qué tal si fue víctima de violencia doméstica? No quieren mandar noticias a la casa y la persona que le abusó ya sabe, va a saber que tiene un caso de visa U abierto. Entonces, hay que mantener informado su abogado o su abogada sobre cualquier cambio de dirección, cualquier cambio de teléfono, para que se puede comunicar, porque ese permiso de trabajo va a llegar junto con el abogado o la abogada, porque allí es donde mandan todos los documentos importantes y las noticias importantes. All right. We have been talking about U visas tonight. I'm happy to take questions about other questions about immigration, other topics related to immigration. Tonight, we're just talking about some of the questions that we've been getting here in our office recently. And like I was saying, many people are getting anxious because of the long wait for the U visas. And so we have been talking with some people who were previously represented by other attorneys. Because it's such a long process, some of the people who filed originally, their attorney is no longer practicing law. Literally, I talked to somebody this weekend that the attorney that helped them is no longer has an office open. And so we were talking about the importance of making sure that immigration understands what how to contact them, because as I was just explaining, all of the notices go to the attorney that filed the application, including all of the original work permit documents. So if those go to an office that's no longer open, then they'll be returned to immigration, and then immigration will not know what to do because they don't have any other address to send it to. So if that's you, if the attorney or the representative or the organization that you worked with when you filed your U visa is no longer operating, you need to make sure that you either find a new attorney or new organization to represent you, or that you call USCIS yourself and let them know that you're no longer represented and that you want all information to go to you directly. And they're able to do that as long as they have your permission to do that. So we would be happy to do that for you. If you'd like, you can give us a call at 541-653-8899. Or if you're just concerned and you want to make sure that everything looks okay on your U visa, we're also happy to give it a second look as well. We did that for an individual this weekend, and I was happy to let them know that everything looked great, that office had done a really good job. And so it made them feel better because they've been waiting for a couple of years, and you just, with the U visa, you just wait and wait and wait and wait. And it can start feeling a little bit nervous that maybe something went wrong or maybe something wasn't done correctly. So it was helpful to that individual to get that second look. So we were happy to provide that to them. Estamos platicando hoy sobre casos de visa U. También estamos listos para tomar sus preguntas sobre otros temas, pero mientras tanto estamos platicando sobre algunas preguntas que hemos recibido aquí en la oficina, y también para avisarle que estamos ofreciendo una revisión completamente gratuita, porque muchas personas han estado trabajando con otros abogados o organizaciones, tal vez metieron sus casos con alguien más, pero ya no tiene contacto con ellos, tal vez cerraron su oficina o no saben comunicarse con ellos. Entonces, es importante recordar que todos los documentos y noticias originales van a ir con la oficina del abogado o la abogada o la organización. Entonces, si ya no está abierto, si ya no existe esa oficina, ¿dónde van a ir? Van a regresar con inmigración, y inmigración no va a saber cómo comunicarse porque solamente tienen la dirección de esa oficina. Entonces es importante ocupar los servicios de otro abogado o avisar a inmigración que se quiere representar a sí mismo para que manden cualquier notificación. Puede ver que faltaba algo en su solicitud, entonces inmigración le va a mandar noticias diciendo falta X o otro. Entonces es importante mantener en contacto con inmigración para poder responder a cualquier duda o lo que se hace falta, porque después de esperar tanto tiempo, no va a querer recibir, saber noticias que fue negado su caso porque nunca respondió a lo que se le hizo falta. Entonces, es muy importante. Estamos dispuestos a ayudar en ese proceso. Llámenos, por favor, 541-653-8899. Nos encantaría revisar lo que ha entregado con inmigración para confirmar que va a poder recibir su permiso de trabajo, el nuevo proceso que iniciaron desde el año pasado para poder recibir su permiso de trabajo lo antes posible, mucho antes de las visa, la mera visa U. All right, so we continue waiting for any other immigration related questions. Go ahead and put those in the comments below. We'd be happy to review those for you. And while we're waiting, we've been talking about U visa. I wanted to also mention something that has started circulating in the rumors about an announcement that was announced recently regarding how to get a work permit faster than usual. And so there's been some misinformation and still some information that's not complete. There's still a lot that we don't know yet. But there was an announcement that Immigration Service is going to be expanding the premium processing process. So premium processing is for certain types of applications. You can pay an extra amount and they will process it faster. So it just like it says, it's premium processing. You're going to pay a premium for it. And they're expanding now this opportunity to work permit applications. And it's funny, it's ironic, it's frustrating, because it seems like immigration just doesn't want to do their job. There was a time, and there was also at one point a requirement that work permits be approved within 90 days. We haven't seen 90 days in a very, very long time, and many many clients are waiting sometimes a year or more to renew a work permit. And so it's become a point of very big frustration for many people who are losing their jobs because immigration refuses to process these applications timely. So it's a little bit kind of annoying, in my opinion, that now they're saying, well, we'll process them faster if you pay us money. Well, that's great for those that have the money to pay it. But what about those that can't even work because you haven't renewed their work permit? And now you want $1,000 or $1,500 more to premium process an application that you really should be able to do without having to pay extra for it. So I want to address that because there are some people starting to ask, well, can I premium process my work permit? It hasn't started yet. We haven't even found out which categories of work permits they're going to allow to premium process. But keep your ears open. I will announce that, although, like I said, it is frustrating to me that they can't just do their job without having to be paid extra for it. I don't know. Maybe all of us should just do our job slower and require premium processing from everyone around us. I know that doesn't really work in regular fields of work, but for the government, it seems to work for them. So good for them. Estamos platicando hoy sobre un anuncio recientemente que se hicieron sobre el proceso, un proceso rápido para casos, para permisos de trabajo. Entonces, quería aclarar algunas dudas porque todavía no han anunciado cuáles casos van a poder aprovechar de ese proceso. Y a mí me molesta bastante porque los permisos de trabajo, antes había un tiempo cuando se aprobaba dentro de 90 días, que a fuerzas tenía que aprobar dentro de 90 días. Pero esto se fue y ahora están demorando más de un año en muchos casos para renovar un permiso de trabajo o aprobar un permiso de trabajo. Y las personas que que tienen su permiso y están contando en renovar rápido su permiso, no van a poder, no han podido renovar rápido y están perdiendo sus trabajos en muchos casos o están teniendo problemas con sus trabajos. Y esto no es justo, en mi opinión, que ahora el gobierno quiere decir, pues, lo sentimos mucho que no hemos podido procesar normalmente los permisos, pero si nos paga más, una multa o algo adicional, vamos a prometer que vamos a procesarlo más rápido. ¿Por qué no se puede hacer su trabajo sin pagarle extra? Eso es lo que no me gusta, lo que me molesta, pero así es el gobierno. Están diciendo que si quiere que haga algo más rápido, tiene que pagarlo. Entonces, todavía no sabemos cuándo van a empezar de hacer este proceso nuevo o cuáles categorías de permisos de trabajo se va a poder hacer, pero hay que estar escuchando y vamos a anunciarlo en cuanto está claro cuáles sí y cuáles no se pueden. Así es que para aclararlo, para que se quitan las dudas. All right, we're talking about immigration related topics tonight. Be happy to take any questions that you have. We've talked about U visas. We've talked about premium processing of certain work permits. And another question that we've been getting is an update for DACA. And I've been waiting and waiting and waiting to be able to give an update on DACA. I'm hoping that very soon we will have positive news, good news to announce about DACA. As it stands now, we're still waiting for the government to release the final regulation. They've been going through the process to change what's an executive order program into an actual regulation that will make it a lot stronger and help it to stand up to all of the lawsuits that keep happening with DACA. So as it stands, they're renewing DACA. They're renewing them for 2 years. We've seen a couple go very quickly within like a week or 2 weeks. We've seen others take much longer. So make sure that you're not waiting too long to renew. Make sure that you renew it as soon as possible. I'd say 6 months in advance if you can do that. I know that, if they approve it quickly, then that feels like you're losing those 6 months. But if you don't get it within the 6 months, or you waited too close to the deadline and it passes, DACA does not have an automatic extension. So you will be without a work authorization, you'll be without status. You may be let go from your job, maybe laid off until you get your DACA renewed. So please be careful with that. Don't push it too close to the deadline. It's very, very important. We're also seeing some advanced paroles get approved for DACA. So make sure that you're taking advantage of that as well. If you have any sick relatives or any reason to travel for work or for school, make sure you take advantage of that. Use that to come back in. And then in the future, you might be able to use that for a green card application. We're encouraging people to make sure that they take advantage of that too. Elections are coming again in 2 more years. This is a midterm year. And so there's no telling what's going to happen in 2 years. We don't know, and there's no promises. So we're encouraging everyone, if there's something that you can take advantage of now, don't wait to see if someone else in 2 years is going to start taking things away again, like we saw under the Trump administration. There's something that you qualify for. We encourage you to take advantage of it now. We're also offering a 10% discount on all citizenship cases because we want to encourage people to get their citizenship, to be able to vote. I just talked with someone tonight about that. She was interested in wanting to be able to vote, she, in her words, to participate. She's lived here for a couple of decades and finally became a resident. And now she's eligible for citizenship. And in her words, she says she still feels like she's living in the shadows, not able to fully participate as a citizen here, voting and having representation. And so I was excited to hear that. I always love to hear, we're a nation of immigrants, and I want to see more and more immigrants becoming citizens and getting that full voice here in the US to be able to vote and get representation. So that's why we've been offering a 10% discount. That's going to be through the end of May. A 10% discount off of all naturalization applications to become a citizen, so that people can get ready for, like I said, this is a midterm election. So we're not voting for a president this year, but there are still some many important elections across the nation, even here locally where we're at. So I would encourage you, make sure that you take advantage and become a citizen at the earliest time so you can be ready to vote. Also, in 2 years, we will be voting again for president. And, the last election was a very important election, a very difficult time politically. And so we want to make sure that immigrants are represented. And how can we make sure of that? We can make sure of that by having as many immigrants be able, qualified and eligible to vote as possible. He estado platicando ahorita sobre algunas noticias, algunos nuevos información sobre DACA. Todavía no tengo las buenas noticias que he estado esperando, pero esperamos que muy pronto las regulaciones que empezaron el presidente Biden, que están cambiando el programa de orden ejecutivo a una regulación. Entonces va a ser algo más fuerte, más poderoso, y también se va a poder recibir solicitudes y procesar y aprobar solicitudes nuevas. Han podido renovar las de antes, pero para las nuevas todavía no se han podido. Entonces esperamos muy, muy pronto escuchar noticias sobre DACA. Un recuerdo a los que están renovando, que están al punto de renovar. Hemos visto algunas renovaciones muy rápido dentro de algunas semanas, pero también otras que han tardado meses y hasta, a veces 6 meses. Entonces recomiendo renovar lo antes posible, por si acaso, si tardan más del normal. para evitar de que si se vence su permiso de trabajo, no hay una extensión automática, no existe una extensión automática para DACA. Entonces, si se vence, puede ser que va a perder su trabajo, va a ser descansado o algo así en su trabajo porque el patrón no puede no puede pagarle y darle trabajo mientras su permiso está vencido. Entonces, hay que renovar lo antes posible. También hay que aprovechar de la oportunidad de viajar con Advance Parole. Por si acaso en el futuro, si se va a arreglar la residencia, puede hacerle más fácil el proceso. Puede viajar a ver a familia que está enferma o para algún motivo de estudio o de trabajo. Entonces, hay que aprovechar de esto. Estamos animando y recordándoles a todos que vienen pronto el año de votar para presidencia y no sabemos qué va a pasar. Todavía falta 2 años, pero este año también hay votos importantes, entonces estamos animando a las personas a aprovechar mientras hay oportunidades de no esperar a ver si se le quitan en 2 años más o en el futuro. Entonces es muy importante aprovechar de una vez sobre las opciones que tiene. También por eso estamos animando a las personas que califican para hacer la ciudadanía. Estamos dando un descuento especial de 10% hasta el fin de mayo para animar a las personas de hacer la ciudadanía para que puedan votar, porque el voto es la voz y el voto es participar completamente en el país. Justo hoy estuve platicando con una señora que ha vivido aquí muchos años y se hizo residente y ya le toca la ciudadanía y le pregunto, ¿por qué quiere hacer la ciudadanía? Y me encantó su respuesta. Me dice que aunque ya tiene la residencia, se siente que todavía está viviendo como escondida o como que no puede participar completamente, no puede votar, no tiene su representación de lo que ella desea y lo que son los valores de ella. Entonces, me encantó su respuesta y estamos muy contentos de poder ayudarle con su ciudadanía. Y ella va a estar aprovechando de ese descuento de 10% porque queremos preparar la gente para votar, para que se puede tener su voz, se puede comunicar los deseos de el país, un país de inmigrantes. Los inmigrantes deben de poder votar. Así es que eso es todo para hoy. Vamos a estar de nuevo la semana que entra. Entonces esperamos que pasen buena semana llena de gozo y alegría junto con su familia. Es la Semana Santa, entonces les deseo muy bonito Pascua y tiempo con su familia. Gracias por estar con nosotros hoy. Thanks for being with us tonight. We will be back here next week. This is Holy Week, so we want to help wish you a celebration through the Holy Week. Easter is next Sunday, and we will be back. Even though it's Sunday, we'll be back in the evening. So if you have any questions, please feel free to come and drop those with us then. Thanks again for being with us, and we will see you next week. Gracias por estar con nosotros y nos vemos muy pronto. Hasta luego.